Friends, very good morning. I welcome you all to my channel, Mechanical Engineering Lecture Series, and myself, Professor M.H. Annaya, Vice Principal at Saptagiri College of Engineering, Bangalore, and former Principal at Dr. Shivakumara Mahaswamy College of Engineering, Bangalore. Friends, in today's session, we have a problem which is eccentrically loaded riveted joint. So here friends, you can see in the diagram, we have 4 rivets, 1, 2, 3, 4, sustaining a total load of 20 kilonewton. And our aim is to find out, based on the shear stress 60 MPa, what should be the diameter of each rivet. So we are going to identify the critically loaded rivet or the rivet which is loaded to the maximum, and then based on that resultant load, we are going to find out the diameter of the rivet required. Friends, here as usual, if you just observe the system of rivets, this is symmetrical about the horizontal line, symmetrical about this vertical line through rivet number 2 and 4, and hence the G, the center of gravity or the centroid of the system, lies at G, which is the line of intersection of these two. Friends, now let us start with the calculation of the direct load. In this problem, the direct shear load Ft is given by P by I, where P is the total load, that is 20 kilonewton, 20 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton, that is being shared by I. The number of rivets are 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And friend, this works out to 5000 Newton. 5000 Newton. So this friends will be acting parallel to this load P and at the center of each rivet. So I can show this one by one. This F1 is acting here, F2 at the center of this, the FD again here, FD. The magnitude of each of these loads is equal to 5000. This again FD. So this direct load, which is the shear load, acts at the center of each rivet parallel to the applied load P and in the direction of it. In case this load is acting at an angle here, so all this direct load will be acting parallel to that and in that direction. By chance, if this load is acting in the upward direction, FD will always act upward in the direction of the applied load. Friends, after finding out this direct load and marking it on the diagram, let us find out the secondary load due to this bending moment. So the secondary load is obtained from the formula P into E is equal to F1 by L1 bracket L1 square plus L2 square plus L3 square plus L4 square, where this L1, L2, L3 etc. are the distances of the rivets 1, 2, 3 and 4 from the CG. So in this particular problem, this L1 is equal to 100 is equal to L3. Here L1 is equal to L3 is equal to 100 mm. Friends, you can see this is 100, 100. Then L2 and L4 are the same. So L2 is equal to L4 is equal to 80 millimeter. You can see here 80 mm. Friends, you can simplify this equation and say this P is 20 kilonewton, 20 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton multiplied by eccentricity. What is the meaning of eccentricity? It is the distance between the point of application of the load P and the CG. So that's already given as 500 mm. So into 500 is eccentricity is equal to F1 by L1. F1 is unknown, by L1 is 100 bracket. The other values are L1 square plus L2 square. L1 is equal to L3. I can call it as 2 times L1 square plus 2 times L2 square, because L1 is equal to L3 and L2 is equal to L4. So L1 square plus L2 twice you will get. And friends, if you simplify this, we get the secondary load at rivet number 1 as 3457 487 3487.8 Newton. So this is the secondary load acting at rivet number 1. Friends, before you go to marking of these secondary loads, let us find out the other values. Friends, here you know this F1 is acting at this point at center of this rivet, and since this L1 is equal to L3, F1 is equal to F3. So F1 is equal to F3. Both rivet number 1 and rivet number 3, they have got the same distance from CG, and hence they will have the same value. Friends, similarly you can find out what is this F2, which is equal to F4, because L2 is equal to L4, F2 is equal to F4, and we can obtain this value. That is, we have the formula F2 by L2 is equal to F4 by L4, or you can say F1 by L1, you can take F1 by L1 is equal to F4 by L4. And here, friends, we have this F1, you know the value of F1, that is 3487.8 Newton is our F1 divided by this L1. L1 is 100 is equal to F4 by L4. F4 is this value, which is equal to 80 divided by, this is F1 by L1 is equal to F4 to be found out, multiplied by L4 is equal to 80 mm. So friends, you will get this F4 value. F4 value works out to a value of 80% of this. So that is 3487.8 multiplied by 0.8 is the value of this F4, so many newtons. Friends, we have calculated all the secondary loads at rivet number 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now let us plot all these secondary loads at the respective points. Now friends, this F1 acts at rivet number 1, and there is going to be perpendicular to this L1 so as to produce a clockwise moment. So friends, this F1 should act upwards, because about G, F1 should give you a clockwise moment, because P is giving a clockwise moment about G. Similarly, come to this rivet number 2. So this is our L2. So this F2 should act perpendicular to this L2 so as to produce a clockwise moment. Similarly, at rivet number 3, this F3 should produce a clockwise moment about G. Finally, at this you should act in this, that is F4 should act perpendicular to this L4 so as to produce a clockwise moment. You please observe this figure correctly. F1 acting at 1 should produce a clockwise moment similar to F2, F3 and F4. Friends, you have marked the value and the direction of the direct load and the secondary load, and now our aim is to find out or to locate the heavily loaded among these 4 rivets 1, 2, 3, 4. Friends, I will take one by one these rivets and tell you which one of these rivets is heavily loaded. Friends, if you take rivet number 1, you have a load F1 acting upward. The magnitude of that F1 is 30487.8 Newton, which is acting upwards. whereas at that rivet number 1, the direct load Ft equal to 5000, that direct shear load is acting downward. Friend, if you just consider this rivet, the effective load on this rivet will be the difference of these two acting in the upward direction. To say here a resultant of 30,487.8 minus 5,000 will be acting upwards. That is to say, the difference of these two is 25,487. So FR1 is equal to 25,487.8 Newton, that will be acting upward. Is it clear? I hope this is very clear. Then coming to this rivet number 2, we have a direct load acting downward, that is 5000, and F2 is acting in the horizontal direction. F2 and F4 are the same, and say friends, you can have it here as FR2, the secondary load at rivet number 2, is equal to square root of the direct load, that is 5000 square Fr2 plus F2 square plus 2 times F2 Fd cos theta. This cos theta is this angle. Theta is 90 degree, so this term will vanish and you will have only this Fr2, and this Fr2 can be obtained because we know Fr1. If we just get this value like this, so where this F2 is equal, F2 by L2 I can say is F1 by L1. Therefore, if I am interested to find out F2, its value will be F1 multiplied by L2 divided by L1. F1, the value is known to you, 25,487.8 into L2 value. L2 is 80 divided by L1 is 100. Friends, if you simplify this, you are getting the value. So this value will be 0.8 times that. So this is approximately, so you can get this, evaluate this value. So this will be obviously Fr1 will have a higher value compared to Fr2, which is only 80% of that, approximately 20,000 plus. Next friends, coming to this rivet number 3, if you just observe, see here for rivet number 3, the direct load 5000 is acting downward, the secondary load F3 is also acting downward. Since L3 is equal to L1, F3 is equal to F1, already we have got the value. And friends, here if you just observe rivet number 3, since the direction of this Fd and F3 are in the same direction, so Fd is acting here, which is 5000 Newton, and again the same direction is acting, that F3. So F3 is equal to F1, which is equal to, the value of F1 is 487.8 Newton. Friends, you can say the total effect of this pull due to Fd and F3 at rivet number 3, if you just add them, you will get 35,487.8 Newtons. Friends, you can just observe here, amongst these 4 rivets, rivet number 3 is heavily loaded or critically loaded, and hence I am going to equate this value of the resultant load at rivet number 3 to the resistance offered by the rivets for shearing, and hence friends, I am going to equate this value of 35,400, that is Fr3, the critically loaded rivet, load on the critically loaded rivet, is equal to 35,487.8, which is equal to pi d square by 4 into 2. This is nothing but the resistance offered by the rivets to shearing. So here I know the value of this tau, I can put this value and obtain D. the diameter of the rivet. So this is the diameter of the rivet, and this works out to 27.42. 27.42, and in the standard size we have D equal to 30 mm. That means the rivet size required to sustain this load at 3 is equal to 30 mm. But generally, even though rivet number 1, 2 and 4 are subjected to a lesser load, practically we make use of the same size of rivet 30 mm at rivet 1, 2, 3 and 4. Friends, I am very sure that you are convinced with the presentation I have made, and I thank you all for the interest you are showing for watching my YouTube videos. I thank you once again. Share this information with all your friends, and if you have not subscribed to my channel so far, do it without fail. Have a wonderful day, and this is Dr. M. H. Annaya signing off.